What's up, everybody? You're watching Model Aviator. I'm Adam. This week we have another episode in our Quick Look Fun Flight series, and we're going to be checking out the E-Flite 70mm Habu Super Sport. The 70mm Habu SS is a part flyer sized airplane in my opinion. However, it's fast and it is above the speed range that I personally would consider safe to fly at a park, unless that park is very large and there's no one around or you have a spotter to help you out. Obviously, a sanctioned flying field is a great place for anything that gets on down the road. It's sold two ways. You can buy it as a plug and play, where you choose the protocol and install the receiver yourself, or as a bind and fly, where it comes with a pre-installed Spectrum receiver. And obviously, if you have a compatible Spectrum transmitter, the bind and fly has all of the latest tech and capability. You have AS3X, optional safe select, smart telemetry, and forward programming, as well as ESC programming, so you can engage reverse if you're so inclined. It is a typical 4-channel to 5-channel airplane. You have elevator, rudder with a steerable nose wheel, aileron, throttle control, and you can utilize that 5th channel to switch between AS3X and Safe Select should you choose to activate that. And if you're going to hand launch it, you're going to want to do that. And speaking of hand launching it, the gear is easily removable. The main gear just snap into place and snap out of place. You have to remove several screws on the plate on the nose gear to remove the nose gear, but that still only takes a minute or so, so it's not really that big of a deal. Hand launching the airplane is made easy by utilizing SAFE. It recognizes the lateral G's of a hand launch and makes corrections as such to get the airplane out of your hands safely, pun intended. The airplane has a convenient top hatch and is intended for 4S 3200 to 4000 to 6S 3200 to 4000. We only flew the airplane on 6S. We flew it on the 3200 you see in it, which is a Spectrum Smart G2 3200. We flew it on a Spectrum Smart 4000 G2, an HRB 4000, and a Pulse 3700. The airplane performed brilliantly with all those. Just bear in mind, if you want all of the smart telemetry, you have to have a smart battery to get that, but you can get most of the other stuff with the other packs as well. Assembling the Habu SS is not complicated. If you are in the market for your first EDF, you've assembled enough foam airplanes, this is not going to be a challenge for you, and the manual explains the steps very well. When it comes to setup, the manual is also in the new format that really explains how to very easily program your transmitter, as well as giving you suggestions for control throw, balance, push rod placement on both the control horn and the servo arm end. Pretty much everything you need to know. They even give you expo suggestions. For what it is worth, we did make a couple of mechanical changes to get more throw on the elevator and the rudder. When you do that on the elevator, just know that you have to make that change before you put the rudder on, or you can't get to that linkage. And we're at 100% rates, 0% expo on aileron, elevator, and rudder. I didn't realize that I didn't have expo in there, but obviously it didn't need it. Airplane flew great without it, at least to us. So that's our setup in a nutshell. When it comes to flight characteristics, we're going to narrate a bit during the flights, so we'll be more specific there. But in a nutshell, the Habu is designed to be a great first ever EDF for budding jet pilot. It's also designed to have enough performance to take you all the way from beginner jet pilot to advanced aerobatic jet pilot, and it absolutely fits that bill. Everything about the way this thing is engineered is pretty brilliant. The omission of retractable gear and flaps, that's intended to keep this airplane light. And because it's light and it makes the same power as more full-featured 70mm jets, it has a good bit more punch and vertical than most of those. You'll be very impressed with the performance. The wing cuffs and the lightweight make this airplane handle very well. They give it good slow flight characteristics. It's very docile. And because there's much less to go wrong and much less to keep up with, it's a lot less intimidating for first ever EDF pilots, while being very entertaining for somebody that is a good bit more experienced. The asking price is $269.99 for the bind and fly. In our opinion, that's an excellent price for what you get because the airplane fits the bill perfectly, and that's a good bit less than more full-featured jets that have more features like retracts and things like that. If you decide that you'd like to add one of these to your hangar, we'll put a link in the description where you can do just that. When you go through that link, it helps support our channel, and when you do that, we appreciate it. Thank you. You're going to see two flights, one gear on, one gear off. We had a blast flying this. Enjoy watching these flights. Take care of yourselves. Happy flying, and we'll see you next week with something cool with wings. All of the gear on footage is from the same flight. We've edited it to cut down on the time and stay within our 17-minute time limit we have set for our Quick Look Fun Flight video series. The gear off flight is a complete unedited flight. For this flight, we were using a 4,000 milliamp 6S pack, and we flew for 9 minutes. Very impressive flight time with this EDF. Obviously, there's good throttle management happening here, but I'm not exactly flying circles either. You'll notice with the gear off flight, we get 7 minutes, and that is with a 3200. The Habu is capable gear on or off from an aerobatic standpoint. You will notice a bit of a speed increase with the gear off. And regardless of what pack you use, you can feel that this jet is lighter than most in its class. As you can see, taking off and landing from grass is not an issue. From a flight time standpoint, I've never come close to flight times like this with any other EDF. The slow flight performance is stellar, and bear in mind, this is with the gear on and the heaviest 4000 6-cell pack. Safe Select makes hand launching a piece of cake. You'll notice I didn't even have a hand on the transmitter and used both hands to launch the jet. There really isn't a lot left to say that we haven't already covered, so we're going to let you enjoy the majority of this flight. Just keep in mind, this is with a 3200 6L, and this is a 7-minute plus flight. The Habu is the easiest sport jet to fly hard I've ever flown. I can see why it's so good for a first-time EDF pilot. And for experienced pilots, it's easy to compare it to Vipers and Avantis and let this one get by you, but it is a sleeper, and it's a fun ride to drive.